Guruji ki Fateh. Welcome everybody. Uh, this is Chetandeep Singh from Bay Area, California. Welcoming you all for another session of Khoj Gurbani. Today we'll be discussing passage number 4 of the Sohila Bani that we have been doing for a few weeks now. So before we begin, let me read out the passage uh, in full and then we can go over, I can share my understanding of what I understand at a very high level from the passage, and then we can open up for the panel. So राग गौड़ी पूर्वी महला चौथा काम क्रोध नगर बो परया मिल साधु खंडल खंडा है पूरब लिखत लिखे गुर पाया मन हर लिव मंडल मंडा है कर साधु अंजलि पुन वड्डा है कर दंडौत पुन वड्डा है रहाओ साकत हर रस साध न जान्या तेरे अंतर हौमे कंडा है ज्यो ज्यो चले चुबे दुख पावे जमकाल सह सिर दंडा है हर जन हर हर नाम समाणे दुख जन्म मरण पवखंडा है अविनाशी पुरख पाया परमेश्वर बहु सोभ खंड ब्रह्मंडा है हम गरीब मस्कीन प्रभ तेरे हर राख राख वडवड्डा है जन नानक नाम आधार टेक है हर नामे ही सुख मंडा है. So this is the Shabad, the passage number 4 from Sohila Bani. This is in Rag Gaudi Purvi, written by Guru Ramdas Padsha. So let me spend few minutes on uh, the central idea of this passage, of how I understand. I won't go line by line. If anybody wants to do a line by line English rendition, feel free to go ahead and do it now. Uh, Otherwise, I can just share my understanding of the passage. Uh, Very well. So, let me start by sharing the central idea, that is the Rahau die Panktiyan. Kar sadhu anjali pun vadda hai, kar dandawat pun vadda hai Rahau. So, when I read this passage, I was having some difficulty putting the whole idea together on the word sadhu and Anjali and then dot. I couldn't really understand at the very first go. It's not a very uh, direct instruction from the Guru, so I had to deconstruct it a bit. And the way I did it is I try to understand each of the word and hopefully I won't spend too much time on this. So uh, let's get to it. So Pun Vadda Hai, the way I understand it, it's a task worthwhile doing, or something worth spending your life on. And the Anjali word, I looked at Mahan Kosh, and it comes from uh, Hindu culture or tradition, where it's basically cupped hands, both the hands put together, to either offer water to sun or ancestors or some deity, or hands put together to do a prayer. And I'm guessing it's kind of a symbol of unification, uh, if you want to take it internally. And sadhu is disciplined mind. The way I see it, it doesn't refer to a person. It refers to our own mind or state of mind where the mind has been disciplined by the knowledge from the Guru. And as we read in the previous Shabad, Gur Sakhi Jot Pargat Hoy, so the mind who has faced towards the Gur and received the Gyan from the Gur that is inside us, that has disciplined itself. So that is the sadhu mind that Guru is talking about. And so in this line, he's saying that uh, disciplining your mind and basically coming together, or the unification with your mool, that is the task that is worthwhile spending your life on. And kar dandot pun vadda hai. It again, dandot is not external, but an internal dandot, and it again can be understood in two ways. So one could be to surrender, like we're laying flat in front of the Guru. So we give up, we complete surrender. Or the second sense is like straight like a stick, that again means discipline. So the central idea is like it's an instruction to us, like kar sadhu anjali punvadda hai, kar dandavat punvadda hai. So this is something that's worth spending your life on, which is uh, getting uh, back to your mool and disciplining your mind to join with your mool. So now, if we look at uh, the whole idea, it's the Guru Sahib is again saying like disciplining one's mind or surrendering before the Guru is the way to go. So let's spend some time on the first few lines. Uh, Kam krodh nagarva parya mil sadhu khandal khanda hai. Uh, Kam, as we commonly understand, it either refers to the lust or kamnama, like desires in general, and krodh is the anger. Our bodies. So Guru Sahib is saying Nagar. Guru Sahib is referring to our body. So Guru Sahib is saying our body is full of desires and anger, and uh, you discipline your mind to basically defeat these feelings of desires and angers. So, in fact, I was thinking about it, and these are precisely the feelings. These are that is the mechanism that natural selection or evolution has built in us, right? And then Guru Sahib is basically saying, watch out for those feelings that are there, built inside you, uh, and basically by disciplining your mind, you conquer those feelings. So I was reading. So there is a Tibetan teacher by the name Shog Jinrin Poche, and I read a quote from him. He said, "Feelings are real, but not true." So these feelings are of desires and anger. They're very real in the moment, but they're not true. And that's what I think the message here is for us. So Guru Sahib is saying, like, by being in the state of sadhu, you defeat these feelings and eventually be free from their grip. So, in the context of these feelings, calm, krodh, what I mean by the state of sadhu is be aware of these feelings as they arise in our body and be equanimous towards them. And we read in Sukhmani Sahib, there's a passage, Taisa harg, Taisa usog, Sada anant nahi byog, Taisa suvaran taisi is mati, right? So being non-preferential. So I think that's basically the sadhu mind that Guru Sahib is talking about. And the next line is again interesting because again it has a word that we all love, right? Purab likhat likhe gur paya, man harli mandal manda hai. And the way I understand it, this is like by that Purab likhat likhe gur paya is the act of being uh, aware and remain equanimous towards what is arising in my body, my feelings. And this is the lekha that I'm writing. This is the mushakkat that I'm doing every moment. And this is going to help me realize the truth, and my mind will live in the presence of Hari. So this is the first part of the entire passage. And so, Dilpreet Virji, I'm going to come to you first. Do you want to share your thoughts on this passage?
Hanji Virji, I think, I don't know, this is my favorite passage in Sohila Bani, okay? I loved reading it from childhood. I don't know why, maybe it rhymed well or I don't know the reason. I loved this passage, okay, while I was growing up. So I agree with you that Sadhu Guruji is not pointing to another person or to a type of people or to a group of people who dressed in a way or who are called sadhus. So he is not pointing us to any person. The another way to look at this is that it may be the teachings of the guru, the gur in the guru, or the teachings or the main teachings which we are getting is called sadhu. And then if that also can be, this Shabad can be interpreted the way you did it, and then another way to look at it, this is that sadhu can mean the teachings or the gur or the teachings of Guru Granth Sahib or our gurus or any other teaching. So it says Kar Sadhu Anjali Pun Vadda Hai, Kar Dandot Pun Vadda Hai means, again, I was looking at this another way, that be open, don't be stubborn, and don't be that, okay, that I know everything. So be open to the surroundings, be open, that is where we can learn. And then today also I was talking to someone, and then, see, the other thing, the other way I was looking at this is that we don't want us to be in a closed society, okay? That I am only talking to the people who are aligned with my thinking, or who are Sikhs, or who practice the same thing, then we are not learning anything. I think that is the thing, the home we have to kill it, and we have to be receptive, and we have to be open to the people who have opposite thinking. That is where we will learn thing. And that is how I was looking, that okay, that you don't close yourself, be open, and then listen to others. And the way it is saying Kar Anjali and Kar Dandot, and then the next one is the Haume, that don't be stubborn, be open, listen to others, that is the way to learn. And then if you purab karam, again, if you put effort, if you become that way, and then the results will come. So that is just another way to look at it. Thank you, Virji.
TK Virji, I think that's a great point that this could be taken as teachings, and it seems like pretty common sense to be open and listen to others. Thank you, Virji. Ikunkarji, do you want to share your thoughts on the Shabad?
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Um, I think I'm just listening right now.
You're
The the one thing that
you're
comes to
cutting
mind.
off. I cannot.
Yeah, I'm having
I,
technical
I
problems. Okay,
Yeah, we all
I'm
are
having too many
today.
technical problems. Okay. So can you hear me now?
Hanji, pretty
Okay.
well.
Okay. All right. So I'll just make a quick comment. The first line with the word sadhu, I think what's important there is that we can't understand it conceptually, that when we're dealing with these pains of the poisons in our body, it's important to meet somebody who's actually done the work and has figured something out. It doesn't necessarily have to refer to a sect or a religion or any of that, but we learn person to person. And so I do think that sadhu refers to someone who's embodying the teachings, um, because we learn from each other ultimately. Like, the words come from people and we learn from watching each other. So that's all I really have to contribute right now.
Hanji, I think I lost the last part of what you said, but I think you mentioned importance of a teacher in one's life and learning from person to person, that being sadhu. Uh, TK ji, Ravinder Veer ji.
Um, Waji Khalsa, Waji Fateh. Actually, I want to echo what Ekunkarji just said, and also want to actually reflect on what Dilpreet said, that we should break through our conditioning. We shouldn't be stubborn. So, in the spirit of not being stubborn, the question I have is, and this kind of reflects what Ekunkarji said. My question simply was, why isn't, why can't sadhu be an external entity? Why can't Anjali actually be a petition to someone? And why can't Dandot be a prostration to another person, maybe not just physically, but humbly submitting to another individual who's teaching you something? And a sadhu could be, as Ekunkarji said, an embodied, disciplined mind. I have this funny feeling that we, as at least here, and people I talk to, the Sikhs, we seem to have this allergy to the idea that there can be an embodied individual who perhaps could, manifest some of these qualities. And yet, we talk about Sangat all the time, that learning happens in Sangat. And Sangat, now I know some people will tell me that Sangat is also an internal thing. And I don't buy that for a second, because the assumption there is when everything becomes internal, you're assuming that an individual, every individual, some individuals might have that capacity, but not every individual has that capacity to begin with, to move inwards. More often than not, you actually need some push, nudge, teaching, stimulation, whatever you want to call it, from another individual. If you are to reflect on your own lives, I mean, you will find that it is individuals who have actually influenced you to move in one direction or another. So that's just the question I have. Why are we so adamant about translating everything into an internal situation? Okay. I do believe that, yes, that is one narrative, one explanation indeed, but many a times it can apply to the external world as well. That's all.
ठीक है वीर जी, I hear you, and in general I agree with you that Gurbani written in a poetic form has layers and layers of meaning. There might be first layer of meaning and all applicable to a different state of mind. But let's carry this question to others. Let me ask Ripudaman, what do you think of what Ravindra Vij's question is? Sadhu, Anjali, Dandot being an external entities and humbly submitting, as Dandot says, rather than being an internal phenomena. What's your take on this, Ripudaman?
हाँ जी वीर जी, वाजी खालसा वाजी की फतेह.
Fateh?
Without being categorically one way or the other, I think so that's what Virji was also saying, that why cannot it also be this? And I 100% agree with him and Ikunkarji, that sadhu is the embodiment of the Guru's teachings, and therefore the word Viji use supplication, right? So when you interact with such a person, obviously you are learning from such a person. That person is providing guidance. So the Guru's teachings are the essence, and these people are embodying that teaching, and through them we learn. So when we say we are doing Dandot or Anjali and all that, in my mind, it is an act of recognizing that this other person is giving us the teachings, and we are ready to receive it and apply it. That is what it means. Otherwise, it becomes just yet another ritual and superstitious action that, oh, Sant Maharaj ji aaye hain, to matha tek lo and you'll all be good. So that's that. If we have that attitude, then it becomes total waste. So that's my take on that particular question. I just wanted to also make a couple of other comments. One is that you gave an example of reality and truth. And it's very interesting that if you dreamt last night, that dream was real because you experienced it, but it was not the truth. So similarly, a lot of emotions that we feel are real, but they're not the truth. So, and that is a distinction that probably we need to derive and recognize in life for many things. That many real things are actually not the truth. बाकी मैं भूल गया कहने तो I had many other points but I forgot.
Okay, I think you made your points. That's very well. I think those are good points. I agree with you. Uh, Let me go to Gurdeep Uncle, Montreal. You heard the discussion so far. Do you want to add to the questions that are being asked or any observations?
The man is born with full of this calm, growth, all this lust, everything. It's inside. When the child is born, he is born with all these things also, whether good or bad. But they are the same thing is good, same thing is bad. Stands on its application. So I accept here, the man is full of calm, growth, and all these things, whatever we say. But
to get rid of these things or to respect of this. We don't have to get rid of these things, but we have to control these things in the life. They're important tools too at the same time. So to control them, we need the shelter of a powerful person. The sadhu means guru also at the same time, or Gurbani, or any illuminated soul. Sikh Guru, Guru Sikh hai eko, Guru Upadesh Chalai. There's a similar attribute the Sikh attains. Jin har japya se har hoye, har milya keel kilali. So we cannot differentiate which Guru we are talking about here. The one who has the similar attributes as Guru has, and he attained it from the Guru. But I believe Rabindra Viji said similar thing. Yes, if we keep their company, those illuminated souls, then we will be able to control our these things. Karanjali Punavada means we say Dandot Bandhan Ankibar Sarv Kala Samrat Tulute Rakho Prabhu Nanak Dekar Hath. This is not the Jogiyan Wali Dandot. Now, Anjali Jogiyan Wali. No. This is that the Gurbani says from inside we are going to the Samrat, the Lord, Supreme Lord, who is powerful, and we are making a prayer to Him that you help us. That's where we get the strength from that Guru or Gurbani through Gurbani. There's no different Guru hai Bani, which Bani Amritasare Bani, Guru hai Bani. So we cannot say that too. Similar way, the Sikh Guru and Guru Sikh, we cannot differentiate too. Jinarjapya, that he becomes the God. The similar attributes he gets, doesn't matter if he's a human person or not. So this is how I think on this, up to this. Now, Saket, the one who doesn't care for these things, he's running of his own mind. Everybody knows it, that he gets all this cycle of life and death and birth and problems in life and all that. So this is how I understand this. And the last paragraph, हम गरीब मिस्कीन पर तेरे राग राग में बड़ा है जन्नत के नाम आके भी कहा करना मेरी सुकमंडा. Then it comes to Harinam. So this is how to be in tune with Harinam at 24 hours. उठत बैठत सोवत जागत ये मंत्र जे चितारे. This is a stage of mind. Or we are all looking forward to get this stage of mind where we can always be in tune with Him. Once in tune with powerful things, then you don't get for the small things. They will be ran away by themselves. This is how I feel it. Thank you. Sat
Hanji, thank you, Uncle. So again, you referred to a very powerful person or Guru or Gurbani being keeping the company of those. I think I have Gurjeet Virji left. Gurjeet Virji, do you want to comment on why Sadhu, Anjali or Gandhar can be external or cannot be external, or they have to be internal? What's your take on this?
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਵੀਰ ਜੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ.
I haven't heard from the beginning, but I want to. I think a lot of points are missing here. Only we are putting too much stress on sadhu. There are other aspects of the Shabad which, like Parmeshwar, has not been discussed at all. So I'll start at Kamkro Nagar Bopariya. This Nagar is nothing but a place where there are 6 houses, which we discussed in the last Shabad. Chekar Chegur. So my mind is now full of doubts because I'm not entering the Sokar Rakhvadaito yet. That knowledge has to come from someone who has entered that house and he's already known as Sadhu. Mil Sadhu Khandal Khanda hai. Khandal is a place like America. You have 52 states with 52 governments. That is Khandal. That has to be abolished. And we just need one king. That is Shabad Guru to be present over there. Purav Likhat Likhe Gurupaya. Sadhu, if you want to comment, within Gurbani, Sadhu is someone outside. For Chautha Pasha, it will be Pasha number 3. Because it is clearly said about Sadhu, So Sadhu Bairagi Soi Hirday Naam Vasai. It's in a past tense. Who has already attained this stage of Hirday Naam Vasai, Antar Lagna Tamas Mulle. He doesn't even have 1% tamas in him. He has totally eradicated all his Rajotamas Sato, which you aap gawai. So Sadhu is a person who is already poor and Brahm, who is giving an advice to Chotha Pasha who want to attain that same stage as him. So it's an advice coming. He can only advise, do nothing else. So then he says, Purab likhe gur paya, mil, Purab likhe gur paya. Gur is the my mool inside. It's with an onkad. Man har live, man is with the sihari. Within the mind there is a hari. Now I'm attached to that. That is also gur, that's also hari. It's also known as gurhar. It's come as separate. Man hari, live. Mandal manda hai. Mandal is now that hirda where I obtained the gun. Manda Shabad is for actually diet. Rotiyan nu bhi mande kehne asi. But it is a food for spirituality which is nothing but all the virtues. Then Kari Sadhu Anjali Pun Vadda hai.
Gurjit Virji, let's limit this round to just discussing the question being posed. So, as I understood from you, is you're saying that sadhu can be external for
No,
Chautha
can
Patsha,
be
it was Teacher
external, has
Patsha.
to. No, can
So,
be. Has to be
can it?
external. No,
You're
there's
saying
no
it has
choice
to
there.
be.
Has to be
Okay,
external.
okay,
Yes.
okay. So,
Okay.
sure. So let's.
Why?
I'll come
Why?
back to you.
The answer is coming. Kar sadhu anjali pun vadda hai. This is your, what you call about the freedom. Free will is here. Kari sadhu. Kari, it's kari. Sadhu has already done the anjali within his hirda. And I will do the dandot asking from him. It's all internal. These are the only two actions as a jeev we can do. This is our free will. Nothing else is in our mind. If we meet a sadhu, sadhu has already done the anjali. He has made his man and chit together. Then kari dadotman vaddahe. That is the what I have to do now.
Let me start the round number two with Dilpreet Virji. Do you want to touch on the second part of the Shabad? We haven't touched that at all. I mean, at least I thought it was word by word pretty clear. But do you want have any comments on either the second passage, second, third, or fourth, or the whole Shabad itself? Dilpreet Virji?
Hanji, I think we can touch that. I think but the conclusion which we are alluding towards it is that it can be an external person, it can be a teacher, or it can be a teaching. But at the end, if we go to the second part, it says Sakat Harra Sadhana Janiyat in Antar Home Kanda hai Jiu Chale. Because again, it is saying that we have to be open to the people, and that sadhu cannot be a person or of a particular type. Because where we are getting stuck is that if I am a Sikh, then I will look for a person who is looks like a Sikh or who practice Sikhism can be only my sadhu. That is where I have that little bit of differences, that we have to be open and we have to be look outside of these boundaries. There are no boundaries. We cannot put any boundaries, like Gurjit Virji was saying, that for Chauthe Patsha, Third Patsha is the sadhu, right? Because we are building these boundaries around us, that for me, if being a Sikh, I only another Sikh can be a sadhu. No. That is where I think that we have to, it says the home has to go. And then in the last line it says, right, hum gareeb maskeen prab tere har rakh rakh wad vadda hai. Again, the entire world is there. Entire world is full of teaching. The whole kudrat is full of teachings, right? So we have to learn wherever we can learn, and we have to be open. That's how I see this. Yes, it can be a person, it can be a teaching, but we cannot limit it to a particular group or particular outlook or a particular practices. It has to be open, and it has to be, that is where the Parbrahm word is coming, that it has to be open entirely. Thank you.
ठीक है वीर जी, thank you so much. So you are saying that there cannot be any boundaries on how we put the label of sadhu on any teaching, or we have to be open and we have to get past our conditioning. ठीक है जी. Ikonkar ji, you heard the entire discussion. Do you have any comments on maybe passage 2, 3, 4 that we haven't discussed line by line, but or any thoughts in general?
Well, Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to draw our attention to the line Abhinashi Purak Paya Parameswar Bahoso Bakhanda Brahmanda Hai. Because I just want to admire Guru Nanak's poetry. So this is something that I love in the poetry of Gurmukhi, which is when you get a line that's just filled with ecstatic expression of the fearless being, that we're, and I'm looking forward to hearing other people's views on this, but like, okay, so what is that sadhu? What is that place the mind is being directed to? Is to just get the glimpse of the immortal divine self, ultimately, like our own immortality, our own divinity, but we're seeing it through the lens of the macrocosm. Like, we're not just in the view of ourselves, we're in the view of the whole. And what a beautiful realm that is, that we get to experience when we're doing these things that the Guru's guiding us to do, or the steps that are being described. So I just want to, that's just a beautiful line of poetry. So I thought I'd admire it with the group.
Hanshi, thank you so much. And I agree with you. And I think that's why we have Kirtan. So we put it into a particular, like it helps us transcend our own mortal beings and takes us to a place where Guru is taking us to. Next we have Ripudaman Viji.
Hanji Virji. So, couple of points. When you ask me right now, then I forget all my points. But yeah, so one was that in general, our discussion has not been to reject sadhu as an external person, but it has been, how do you recognize the sadhu? That is basically the big question that we keep asking ourselves, right? And so maybe that is a discussion, if we can have, that would be a nice one. The other is that fine, we have read this Shabad and done some vichar on it. So what about its application? How have people applied it in real life? Whether it's been a favorite Shabad from your childhood, or in general, everybody has had this Shabad has a special effect on almost everyone. So, question in general is, how have you applied it to your life? Worth listening to.
Okay, thank you, Ripudamanji. So 2 questions. How do you recognize sadhu? And since we're not rejecting that it's an external person too, how do you recognize sadhu and how do you apply this Shabad in our daily life? So I can quickly share how I try to apply this Shabad, and since I shared the meanings upfront, the internal meanings, that whenever the feelings of desire and feeling of anger they arise in me, I try to A, be aware of them, and B, remain equanimous. That means not react to those feelings. And mind you, this isn't easy. And it's every day that I fail to do that and I fall. And I think that's part of it. But again, Guru is asking us to cultivate that capacity that is inherent in us to be aware and be equanimous towards the feelings that arise in us. That's what I try to do. But let me pose these 2 questions to. Let me go to Gurdeep Uncle, Montreal. Gurdeep Uncle, you heard the questions. Your take on
We
these?
get this kind of situation many times in life. Even during the day, one day we get maybe 3 times this way or that way. Only thing is important to know the history, what happened during the Guru's time. So, Prasad Sakhi Mahaprabhu ko bolde, Sanju Sagal Jane, how did they deal with? How Guru Arjan's life? How did he deal with his own brothers? And Guru Ramdas with their own sons and all that. That gave us a good guidance that time. Put Kahe Chagat aur Sang Baap, Guru Ramdas ji, he wrote in Guru Kansa, Jinke Jane Badire to wo Ting Sang Chagrat Paap, Guru Arjan Dev ji. his brother did so much for with him. And then he said, Rakh liyo bhai, mere ko prabha ke ardas. So he prayed for him, whereas he had a big foe for him. So we have to take this example. The other thing from Stanley, we say, Jo dise gur sikhara, tis nirni vilaga pao jiyo, ho akha beta ji ki, gur sajjan diyo malai jiyo. We don't have to stick to that person, but once we see that he has certain attributes, he can help us to move us. We keep his company, but our focus is to the Supreme Lord. Ho akha beta ji ki, gur sajjan diyo malai jiyo. These things we have to go through. Otherwise, how can we do? Alone, by sitting alone. I know internal part is important, but to reach internal, we have to, this is my feeling, we have to go through external. What have we seen around, what have we seen nature, what have we meet people, but our focus should be to further and further. Only problem comes when we stick to one person, then all the problems come. मेरे को दिया पदेगा मैंने कहा हुई जाए जियो क्या आपकी सिद्ध to control my mind please preach me for that part हो गया नहीं control so this is how we need to start saying the Gurdwara we are focusing on Gurdwara our focus is on the proper life of the Kirtaniya those who are doing Kirtan and we get pissed off one he did that in life no what he is not eating our focus is on the Gurbani and the Gurus and the 660 I think this is the way we can achieve. Otherwise, everybody has a problem. With the husband and wife, it's not easy to live all your life with one person. This has been proven. Medically, yes. But when we have the spirit of Gurbani, when we know the Sikh history, then we can control ourselves so easily. We have to be devoted to Gurbani. This is what I feel, this is what so far I've practiced in my life, and I think it helped me a lot. Yeah. Thank you.
Anji, thank you, Uncle. Gurjeet Virji, do you want to take on these questions or share your observations on the second half of the Shabad?
Anji, we can do that. It's not that simple Shabad. It has got so many concepts in it. I think we haven't discussed half of them yet. This is where you start the second part. You say, Karanjali is all done. Karanjali is Kari Anjali. I have done the Anjali. I have done the Dandot. And then when you do the Anjali or Dandot, then what you obtain is Hari Jan. Now he is Puran Brahm. Hari, Hari, Nami Samane. There are two names in which we have to merge yourself. I think we don't know this at all. Hari Jan is one naam to get the naam from Hari, and then you get, that's only Gyan, and then you get the full naam from Parmeshwar. That's why his name comes here. Hari Jan is like Nanak, or here Chauthe Pasha. Hari, firstly he went into the Hari, and then his Hari went into the further Hari. Naam Samane, Dukh Janam Marampav Khanda. Then you are not reborn. That is the last stage which you have to obtain. And he explains it, what is that stage? Abhinasi Purkh. We Jeeves are not Abhinasi. Our wisdom is Nashwant. That's why we are here. Anyone in Sachkhand is Abhinasi himself, but he's acting like an ocean. Abhinasi Purkh Paya. We are calling Nanak as Guru, and he says, I have obtained the Guru. So that's why we say Gur Parmeshwar Eko Jaan. That's where this line comes from. Because Nanak ji or Guru Amar Das ji or Guru Ram Das ji has become Abhinasi Purkh, and he has merged into Shabad Surka mein Paya Parmeshwar Bahut Shobh Khand Brahmanda hai. This is the achievement we have come. All the people in the Brahmand. Brahmand is not world. Brahmand is the Chaitan within you. Your Brahm is in the doubt. If he is Khandit as well, is in the two bits. If he join together, he comes out of that Brahman. He breaks the egg from within and gets a life in Sachkhand. Hum Garib Maskeen Prabh Tere. He still says that I'm not a guru. I'm a Garib and Maskeen. But who's Maskeen? Prabh Tere. My mools Maskeen. Hari Rakh. The Hari is the only person to give us protection. Sokar Rakh Vadai Toy. He is living in that Nijkar. Rakh Vad Vadda Hai. There is no one equivalent to him. Jan Nanak Naam Adhar Tek Hai. There's also a twist in this Pankti. This Naam Adhar Tek Hai is coming from Parmeshwar, but Har Naam Mein Hi Sukhmanda is coming from Sadhu, which he has obtained. So he has fitted everything so nicely and finished the Shabad there. So, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Hanji, ठीक है वीर जी, thank you so much. So we have around 8 minutes left. It's basically open at this point of time. Anybody wants to share their insights into how we can apply this Shabad in our daily life? Any insights anybody wants to share? It's open right now.
Okay, I can share one thing. Okay, see, what comes to my mind is that I look at our ancestors, that they were so open. That is why we became Sikhs today and we are born in the Sikh families, because they were open for the teachings and they were thinking out of the box. That is where they got converted and they got associated with Guru Nanak's teaching. So I think if we are, we also should be open and we should not close ourselves, and we also should be open for everything. Thank you.
This is Ekonkar. I did actually want to comment on the question of how do we know a sadhu, like how do we recognize? And my thought there is it's very much human nature. Like if I'm a musician, if I'm a pianist, or if I'm studying violin, I'll listen for the musician who I know is playing at a level that I would like to get to. And then I would apply and say, please, I want to be your student. I want you to teach me what you know. And I think that happens whenever someone wants to become an expert, whether we're looking for a job or going to graduate school, we're always thinking about what it is in myself that I want to cultivate and who do I see that's exhibiting those qualities. And that's who I vibrate to study with. And I don't think that I don't think a sadhu has to be like a pure enlightened being. Like it doesn't have to be the really, really totally realized person. I think a sadhu can just be someone who's really done the work and knows better than I do, and I can see it by their behavior or their communication or their actions. And it's like, oh, there's something you have that I want, and I'd like to study with you so I can learn it. So that's just to answer that one question about how we recognize a sadhu.
Thank you, Ikungarji.
You practical. There's a person, someone who can tell me what is Naam, what is Guru, why Granth is Guru. All these things, if someone can answer to me, that will be my sadhu. Thank you.
ठीक है वीर जी, thank you so much. We have few minutes. Harvinder Veer ji, do you want to share your take on the Shabad?
I'm good, ji. Thank you.
ठीक है जी. I think then we are pretty much done here. I'll give you back 3 minutes and I'll see you next week with the final Shabad from Sohila Bani. Have a good evening, everybody. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.